how was it like building all the way from scratch to where you are now?
Thank you, Ajibola, for the opportunity, and thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to introduce myself briefly again because I learned this from Tony. Success leaves clues. So we follow the leaders. He was on a platform they asked him, just this kind of talk show, was on a platform in Dubai, and they asked him about Africa and the economy. And then he started by talking about UBA. I'm the chairman of UBA. So I started Mutual Trust Microfinance Bank. If you're in Abuja, you should know us if you're in business. About 10 years ago, over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $100 million in loans, SMEs, real estate companies, and all that. So this is not the only vehicle. I also do investment banking and as well as asset management. So, yeah, it's been a long journey, and I thank God for the gift of people, not to help or no uncle that gave $100,000, but the fact that you meet people along the way that inspire you. When I met you years ago, the only reason I bought those ties was because the passion, the intensity was too much. I just knew this was a guy going somewhere. My first cousin was number 3 in First Bank at that time. He was always sending me ties. So I really didn't need the ties, but you were too compelling. I could not ignore it. I just kept buying. It's been a long journey, and I think that this kind of program is very important for men, not just for us, but for our sons growing up. I'm going to be talking about men a lot because, women are doing things now, but that's not the natural order of things. When God created Adam and then found that he cannot be alone, he needs a helpmeet for him. So we must continue to be at the forefront of society. And for men to really stand up and be very strong men. We're talking today about men mission and all that. I was privileged to have a mother who wanted a very strong firstborn, and growing up in Basho, in Ibadan then, and all that. And I learned some things very early. Focus. For example, Tesla, the original Tesla will tell you that where focus goes, energy flows. Where focus goes. So if you are focused on a thing, energy will flow, and it makes it more realizable. So I was very focused I wanted to be a success. My uncle was Bode Akindele, but I didn't get a dime from him. My mother said, Maja Kinriembe, don't let me see you there. You must make your own way. And then she had 3 shops in Bodija, Ibadan, selling stuff. Anytime I had a holiday, you must go and do holiday job. I'm telling you these things because that's the way to bring up children. Even my children who are the children of a billionaire, they do holiday jobs because we must instill that work ethic. I think that's important, to be focused, to decide what you want to be, and we should not be afraid to dream big as men. Don't be afraid to dream big. Dream big, and then as the Bible says, write the vision, make it straight, that you may run with it. I saw a couple of people writing. That's very good. Very, very intentional. We must always write because the thoughts are flowing everywhere. We've been throwing thoughts around. Soji was throwing a lot of solid thoughts out there. And I looked around to count how many people were really writing because you just think this is another session. But thoughts are flying around in the ether. How do you capture it into reality? You write. So it's important to write the vision. Success leaves clues. There are people that are super successful in what you're doing. I have a lot of mentors in banking. My first job was with Tony. I learned a lot from that. My first banking job. I learned a lot from that experience. Just follow the master. So somebody's leading the industry. There are ethical things. There are also unethical things. There are ethical things that you can learn from intensity, from being focused, from planning, from exposure, from branding. There's a lot to learn. So choose who your mentor is. Mentorship is extremely important. And that's one of the things that I caught on to early. There were people I was following. I didn't necessarily have access to them, but I had books from, you spoke about, whose book are you reading? I have books of people who had done the things that I wanted my life to mirror, over years. And even till now, I'm still following people. So, yeah, my balance sheet is about $100 to $120 million, but I have a friend whose balance sheet is over $1 billion. When I get there, I'm like a small boy. I don't say I know something. Even though I know a lot. I'm a chartered banker on 2 continents, and I've been to Harvard, all those things. But I also always want to learn. So I think it's important to also want to continue to learn. I learned a lot from your session today about the family and marriage. We must have an open heart to learn. So that's it. I had a strong mother who helped mold me. My father was just like that, always at work. I was privileged, but that's what a father should be, to try and mold the next generation. So yeah, these times call for very strong men. And anyway, very strong, sorry if there are ladies here, very strong men make the world. Strong men make nations. You can look at the Wala and the Harakiri that some strong men are causing all over the Gulf War and all that, to also deal directly or indirectly with another strong man. Strong men make things happen. Now, the strong man is loving and all that, cares for his family, but he's being strong to take care. The Bible says, I'm a Christian, so you forgive me. The Bible says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children and children's children. And that inheritance, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about character. We're talking about visioning. We're talking about education. So those are the things that I had. I've always had that ambition to be something great, and consistency is important. Patience is important. You wake up every day trying to see, you want to make things happen. For example, that bank we started 10 years ago with 20 million naira. All my mentors also, you also have to be careful what you hear from God, you know. All my mentors said it's the wrong time to start a bank. It was during Buhari's first recession. I should wait for the recession to chill before so if I had waited, do you know how many recessions since then? There was recession 1, 2, 3 under Buhari. Then there was under, you know, so would have still been waiting. But I just knew it was time to move. Yeah, that's another thing. We must be action-oriented as men. We must take action. Bishop Oyedepo says, what you don't want, you don't watch. Sit up and take action. What is the work? How do I deal with this? What are the things to do? It's even good to take action and miss it. Then you know, I learned how not to do this thing. Thomas Edison, in creating the incandescent bulb, he said he tried over 1,000 experiments. He said he failed 1,000 times. Say no. I learned 1,000 ways of not diluting electricity into a bulb. So even when we make mistakes, let's be learning. We must learn. So there's a lot to say, but yeah, let me just cut.
Thank you very much.
When in life, practical life experience, you thought it was time to move, you ticked all the boxes, you checked well, you made that move, and it failed. How did you deal with confidence and energy, and how did you really bounce back? So what would that thing you would tell any man, no matter the situation, that yes, everything seemed okay, but it hit you back in the face?
That's why I started by saying we must be strong men. You know that people are depending on you. I can't afford to be depressed because people are depending on me. My son is going to grow up. I want him to go to Harvard or whatever the equivalent of Harvard is in 10 years' time. So I know if I feel that, myself up. And in today's world, there is so much help that we don't have excuse to be failures as men. The internet, the YouTube is a vast university. You have people like this that you can follow on YouTube. I listen to Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. In those days, you know, we used to carry tape around. Tony used to go around with Zig. 3 hours per day is listening to those guys because there were a lot of discouraging things. So if you are discouraged, there are a lot of mentors that can be recommended that have gone through adversity. Zig Ziglar is the one that said that motivation doesn't last. That's why we recommend it daily. You must motivate yourself daily. So every day you wake up, maybe you pray at 5 to 6, 6 to 8, you are listening to something motivational to give you the juice for the day. You know, so if you feel that something, nobody writes failure on our faces, pick yourself up. We have a presidential candidate today that is being contested since I was in university to be president. I was shocked that he's contesting again. But yeah, whatever you say about the man, this is the tenacity. It's contesting over and over again. We had the president who failed. The fourth time he failed, he cried on national TV. What a man. Me, I don't believe in men crying. Sorry, sir. but you know, somebody made it. Eventually, he became president. He still got it. So don't be discouraged. Pick yourself up. The time calls for strong men. And the world is entering a phase where things are going to be much tougher. People don't know what that AI is going to do to us. I think that man will lose being the apex predator in 3 years' time when AI becomes fully sentient. So we have to be strong. So motivate yourself daily by listening to people that, you know. I'm sure Ajibola can recommend. I have people I listen to on a daily basis. I by no means think I've gotten it all. There are still things I'm trying to achieve. Praying to God, fasting and praying on. And still listening to people to motivate me. You know, so nobody has it all. You must get help. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Soji, would you take marriage advice from a marriage counselor that is less than your years in marriage, considering that marriage is progressive and there are lots of things you see in the course of being married? Say, for instance, say you've done 15 years in marriage and you now see that, okay, this marriage counselor is 5 years in marriage. Would you go to someone that's just 5 years in marriage for a marriage advice?
With every sense of humility, if it makes sense to me, I will listen to him. If it makes sense to me, if it's going to help me, if it's going to impact positively my marriage, I will listen to him. I will call him, I will ask him. And that's the truth. I am my mother's marriage counselor. Did you get that? I am my own mother's marriage counselor. I have an uncle, that's my mother's younger brother, who calls me. If I call him and I say, my counselor, that's what he calls me, my counselor. He's going to be 70 this year. He's 10 years older than me, 11 years older than me. And so, if people can find me and what I say useful, and they can listen to me, I mean, I'm talking about older people. Why can't I now listen to younger people? Because sometimes, they may have more ability. They may have more insight.
How about experience?
I get that. I experience. But you see, there is something about, you know how the Bible talks about there's a spirit in man, right? That the inspiration
Give it him understanding.
give it to understanding. So, thank God everybody knows that scripture. Okay. So, there are times when God can speak to you through younger people. Samuel was a baby when God started speaking to him. Eli didn't know. In fact, Eli knew later that God had started speaking to Samuel. Samuel came to me and said, I'm hearing voices. Somebody's talking to me. I said, go and sleep. Nobody's talking to you. Somebody's calling my name. The fourth time Eli realized that God had started speaking to him. Right? So God can use anybody. Experience, yes. But sometimes inspiration. Why do I talk to older people? My own mother. I would tell my mom, Mommy, don't worry. You know, Daddy is this. No, don't worry. Just do it like this. Say it like this. And she will go and do it. And she will get the result. And she will come back to me and say, Soji, nkoto so work. As in, Soji, that thing that you say, work too. Right? So, why will not? I will take it. I'm not a proud man. Oh. I'm very, very humble. And humility is one of my traits. I can tell you that.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's beautiful. Okay.
Something about that. You know, the number of years you are in marriage does not mean you have experience. So let us flip, what does this experience even mean? Because there's something I used to say, you can learn to live or live to learn. They're two different things entirely. I'm a person that I know I'm stupid in different areas of life. I don't have to have trained a daughter to learn how daughters fail before I read, leverage on people's experience, and be loaded before marriage. Someone that read 100 books on marriage, different things, is more experienced than the person that failed 10 years, doing wrong things, will now say, I've used my life to learn. He's not still learning. So it's not the number of years that there's this guy, he's 29. Most times when we are going for consulting job, that guy is a wizard in Lagos. That guy is sitting. That guy currently has just been hired remotely for 7,000 euros. 29-year-old guy. When he speaks in meetings, people want to listen. He's 29 in Lagos, solving global problems. People that are 70 are signing him on. Why? He has pondered and mingled with knowledge. So the problem is that don't think years of experience. That's why he's mentoring someone that is older, because he has studied more, paid attention more to learning in that area. So how many hours have you spent in that knowledge? Someone in 5 years can use 5 years to have studied that thing. And somebody 15 years has not studied it for more than 1 year. That person will still be a victim of circumstance in 15 years. So if you take advice for that 15 years, it will teach you how he has been failing without learning anything. So I don't see experience as number of years. How many hours have you mingled in that knowledge? They say if you want to keep something from a black man, keep in the page of the book. Black men don't read about everything. Think about it. Before I take a job to start working with bosses, I buy books on how to work with different kind of bosses, different kind of things. Some people are still victim of bosses. They don't know what to do, and you've been working for 15 years. You've not read one book about how to manage different kind of bosses before. Why you not be a victim of circumstance? And you not say, I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you are saying, even when you're 15 years at work. You are still failing. So 5 years of intense knowledge, focused learning, focused pondering, implementing can be powerful. More than 15 years of stupidity. I told my mother one time, Mommy, I can't marry you. Because the way you talk to your, they are 70 something or 79 already. But I'm just saying, no, I fought her one time. Don't talk to your husband like that. They gave birth to me. So meaning that it's not a function of years. It's a function of what you've mingled with. That's my own view about that.
Thank you so much. This is the person here. Sir, someone asked if you could just recommend. You were going to recommend some people if you have a list or you have a website we can go to or something.
Okay, thank you. Of course, the first person I recommend is Ajibola. You follow him online. I was in London for 3 weeks. And I sat on a committee because somebody made a pitch to a firm I'm consulting for Europe. I wanted to raise £10 million. There's a way you position yourself. There's a way we're looking at the literature, the quality of the literature, the quality of the print. We're looking at the quality of the financial dilution. We're looking at how well put together are you. You know, if you don't look the part and you want to raise $10 million, the figures may speak to it, but you know that in today's world, the man is very important. Your personal brand, what you carry, because no matter what you have written down, all the strategies in the world, strategy is overrated. Implementation is key. Action. No matter what the strategy, you will still encounter serious bottleneck. So it will now come to the character of the man. So it teaches about character, brand, Jim Rohn. So some of these guys, there's also a guy, the $50 billion man. And I recommend him to all men. You may need to, parental guidance is advised. The 50 billion, Dan Pena, Pena, P-E-N-A. It teaches men to be strong. And in rounding off, I'll say that I hope you know that men like us, 300, 400 years ago, you will not be wearing kaftan and suit like this. You will be carrying gun and cutlass. The Yorubas, people say Yorubas should form a country. We are deceiving ourselves. Yorubas fought 200 years war. The Kiriji was 200 years. Europe fought wars for 200 years. So if we came 200 or 300 years ago, we will be very hard men living in the forest, fighting wars. But today, if they don't give you breakfast, you are annoyed at the wife. We have become soft. So men need to toughen up. And someone like that, Locke will help you. That's my brother at the back, actually. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Also,
all right.
Please, there's one book. I guess if the organizers can put everybody together in the WhatsApp and share some things with you guys, so we can have a team learning. Okay? There's a book I recommend that you should share the soft copy if they can. That book is by Grant Cardone. It's called be obsessed. You just, if you can live what is written in that book, you don't need 50 books. If you do everything written, you will make it. Grant Cardone, be obsessed. So we're going to create a group and copy different links at different times. Marriage, money, financial advice, marriage at different times, so that we can still keep this growth, going on.
Beautiful.
I know, I feel that would be nice.
All right, so let's move on quickly.
One thing I could notice from all the speakers is you've been able to build something sustainable over a period of time, develop something that generates income, right? But we live in a different generation where it's easy for someone to just be in your room and be testing AI apps and you are getting paid in dollars, than actually sitting down to build something that would bring more money in your future. I don't know if you get the, So it's easier for you to get paid even without a certificate, in quotes, and doing something that is giving you money, paying you in hard currencies, rather than building something that builds you into a career that will make your life even more impactful. How do you navigate these challenges, especially in this age? I'm not
Even to use those AI tools, you have to learn it for over this. And sometimes, because I have a nephew, and it's not because it's my nephew, I wanted to be sure it's not Yahoo he's doing, because he makes about $50,000, monthly. But he's at it like 12 hours a day. Yeah, so it's important. The world is changing, like you said. When we were growing up, somebody was at my 10th anniversary dinner as MD yesterday. One senior person was saying that, do you know how old I am? I worked in merchant bank. In the 90s, merchant bank was the thing. You were not a merchant banker, you are not a banker. He went to commercial banking. Now everything has changed. Money Point has come to show everybody what can be. You need to move with the times. That's what I want to say. You need to move with the times. And as a younger man, I will advise you, anything you are doing now, you must master AI. You must. Because the world is going to completely, if you know how apprehensive I am of AI, because it's going to take 90% of the jobs away. Because I know what I did. I created a spreadsheet. I just asked AI, you're a financial expert in UK banking, and I gave it figures. I gave it a role. So you're an expert, create a spreadsheet for me. What he did in 5 years, I would have paid the consultant in 30 minutes. It's what I would have paid the consultant $5,000. It laid the entire, I said, do you want to export it? The Excel, do you want to add this, add what? So, I would have paid $15,000 for that thing. But because I had sat down to learn some aspects of AI, so I don't overstress about building something formidable outside AI. Anything you want to build now, anything, please. I learned about the Chinese machine now that you just send design, you send the design, send the measurement of the person, and then it does the cutting for you. You don't even need tailor with scissors. It does the cutting. Now people import cutting from China. Not cutting, as in your barbaric, they have already cut it. They just put it together and it is perfect. They sent me one. Perfect fit, AI. So what you are saying, so even mastering AI is something, because that's the way the world is run from now. Forget about anything else. And mastering the AI, not I know how to do it, not asking AI question. Prompt engineering, how to use it, is serious work. I've been doing it, it's serious work. So what you're doing, it's formidable. You're building a money-making machine. And that's what you should be about, building money-making machines for the next 5-10 years. So what is going to change? Go and master that thing. And in doing it, you are building something formidable. You can even build your own. There are AI agents. You can build your own AI that knows you, knows how you work. And that's serious work. So don't think it's all hard work. And you're building something formidable to learning.
Thank you so much.
I'm an educator and a teen coach. And I wanted to ask, what you said about boys, stepping back and girls leading in the class is actually true, because I see that in schools every day. Now, as a teen coach, I would like to get what your thoughts would be. I know we can easily say families are failing, fathers are failing in the house, but in school, we could help, And so what would you advise as a teen coach, as a way to inspire boys to step up? Not that they are competing, but most boys are laid back now. That's the honest truth. most boys are laid back. They will just tell you, my father has money, and then it goes like that. So I'd like to get your thoughts as to how we can, help the future men, take their place in the scheme of things. Thank you.
Before I give it to you, because you have men, guys, you have 2 girls or one boy, one girl. Okay, before I let you talk about men, what I want to share here about say to this is that more men like us should come out and that can be their mentors. You see, in schools now, women are becoming the only teachers. You only have few men. Few men, even when you look at Sunday school, women are the one doing Sunday school more, not the men. So men are not stepping, we're not staying, we're not there. And that's why I cancel big trainings when my kids are going to get things in school and I must be there. My wife sometimes thinks I'm mad. Because, you see, we get so busy. The men that should mentor the new generation, they're so busy that they don't have time. And we're creating weak men. And the future is not so safe with weak men. Because there will be so much that girls will not see men to marry. They will see boys to marry. They will not see men that can stand up to challenges. So I don't want to talk about families, because the way families are grooming men is also bad. We're getting them, making them entitled. Throughout my own, when I was growing up, we're all guys. There's nothing I didn't do. I prepare food. My mother made sure we did everything. We carry water. So I'm not that kind of man. I get him. When my wife gave birth in the US and my mother came, do you know that the 4 weeks my mother was around, I knew that mother's culture and expectation and my wife can cause problem. I was the one in the kitchen for 1 month in America. I was one. Came the food. Mommy said, no, I know how my mother wants it. And I don't want problem between my mom and my wife. So what did I do? And I know that my mother is not always right and my wife is not right in that way, and I'm the one in the middle. We had fun. I know I did everything. So meaning that, imagine I was a weak man. That would cause strain in my family, because my wife is still in maybe 1 or 2 pain. She needs to rest, but the food needs to be cooked. My mother will not go there, but I stepped in. What am I making you see this is, we need to having men talk with men, teens, more boys setting, because there's no way, because it's not happening at home. So you have a lot of calling on your head, though, because to ensure that, because you're still the only man among 10 women like the teachers. What's the statistics of men in your school? If there are 100 teachers, how many men? 70% women and few percent men. So even at home, women are the ones mentoring these children. In school, women are the ones still mentoring the children. The question you're asking is, where are the men? We just feel our responsibility is just to get money. After a few years, 20 years, you are down. The people you created, we're not thinking about generations that come. So I'm passionate about this issue of men, not building men. But guess what? You can do a lot. Start men club. Invite men once in a while to come and share their stories. It's possible that we are sharing stories, another boy will be inspired. I want to say, I don't want to be like my father. I want to be like this person. So they start coming up, because a lot of us don't have mentors as parents. Yeah. Our mentors are not our parents. So it means that we must just be visible and, be more intentional. I'm also take what you said now. I'll take it upon myself to start more conversation with men, boys, beyond this also. So you've inspired me now to do something.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
That's why I thank God for this kind of platform. When I came in, I was so happy. I was actually planning to do this. So maybe we'll partner. And I think that flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. You need to start, you need to start something for younger men. If you reach me, I will support. Anyway, because you remember, I didn't even know this question was coming. Remember, I started by saying that we need to create strong men. Look at the men today now. You say, by the way, if you're a man here, you see watch 2 hours of Arsenal playing Man U. You are not serious. Because those 2 hours, I stopped it years ago, not just because Arsenal was not bringing any any medals home, but I just said, why am I spending so I just said every week that Premiership, that 2 hours, let me read a book, let me do something. Because I calculated how much Kanu was making a week. That time, Messi was making like 600 million a week. I said, Joshua, you must be stupid. You are watching somebody that makes 600 million a week. Have you made 600 million in a year? This was years ago. Sometimes you have to have strategy session with yourself. I just corrected my own brain. So these 2 hours, I watch highlights. But to sit down those 2 hours, time is going. So we need people like you to set up. When we were growing up, we had Boys Club, Boy Scouts, we had Boys Brigade. Those things taught leadership training to us. It is absent now. Even in school, I hear that there's a time they took history of the curriculum. They've taken civics off. So how will you know the things that need to make a responsible citizen in society? And especially a man, you have to create the platform. So please, you sit up and do something. Start a boys' guild of Abuja or something. Let people the way you position yourself, people will send their boys, will send their men. For my son, I play classical piano, so and that thing is tough, is wahala. I got him. He says it's difficult. I say yes. That is what you need. It is difficult. You think being a man is about going to the kitchen to carry food. It's difficult. He's 4 years old. You must learn, and I sit on him. So we need to let them also, for those of us with boys in the house, start doing difficult things. Don't just wash the car. Are you going out? The car is dirty. My car is dirty. Wash the car. Oh yeah, you have to give them tasks. Like you said, men are missing in action, and you can step in and help society.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Good evening. My question is to Ajibola. Please, what matters most in business more than capital? And my second question is, does age gap affect marriages, like age gap between the husband and wife? This is my 2 questions.
Okay, so what matters most in business more than capital? So what's more important than capital in business?
If you pay attention to what he said, relationships, very important in business. Building trust in relationship. If I can give you 1 million and I know you're going to return it, those things is something you cannot overemphasize. The capital, relationship capital. So what's most important is that relationship capital. We are 20 years this year. 20 years. And there's not been one day. People give us dollars, keep their dollars with us, and give us dollars for their exams and all. Nobody has come in 20 years saying they give me dollar and they didn't get their money back, or they went and now started giving stories. Sorry, we must build relationships. So that is a capital. Everybody that have experienced me for 20 years, they've given me money. If I start something that I need to pull funds together, they will give it. Jibola. If I say, okay, bring $1,000, do you know how many people have influence? It's going to multiply. They won't say it will enter one chance. Because even some people, their spouse cannot stand for them. That whenever your spouse borrow you money, you don't return. So those relationships, so spouse start keeping money from husband. I've seen that also. The husband starts saying, you have money, you didn't tell me. The one he told you and he gave you, did you return? You now say, is it not my money too that I removed the money from? Is that the conversation? So even at home, your wife cannot stand for you that my husband will pay back. So relationship capital is very important to scaling in business. Without that. Okay, the other one is for you. Okay.
All right. So you said if age difference is an issue in marriage, right? Personally, apart from the extremes, age difference should not be a problem in marriage. So, because the next question you want to ask me is that, should a 25-year-old guy, 25-year-old guy marry a 70-year-old woman? So those are extremes. But generally speaking, it should not. The challenge, I'm suspecting that you're looking more about, I may be wrong, about the guy being younger and the woman being older. Because in the reverse case, we see that all over the place. We see, we know what we call sugar daddies. I mean, we see a 60-year-old taking care of marrying a 27-year-old. We know about this man, he's one of the popular businessmen in Lagos. Is it Okoya or Okoya, you know? And people are saying that young lady, she's doing well in that marriage. On social media, we don't know what happens in the bedroom. Now, so it shouldn't be a challenge. I was reading something recently, very interesting, and they were asking people to comment. A man met his wife. When they met, she told him that she was 25. No, 25 years. No, sorry, 35. That she was 35. Sorry, 45. I'm mixing it up. That was 45. And then, what am I saying? 35. So they got married. Now, she wanted to celebrate, the husband wanted to celebrate her 40th birthday for her, yes. She said she was 35. I think they were like age mates. Yes. So she wanted to celebrate her 40th birthday. And she organized a party. And people were already at the party. I don't know if it's a true story or not, but somebody wrote it and was seeking help. So it was happy 40th birthday. The mother of the woman came for the party and announced there that, what are you talking about? My daughter turns 50, not 40. Did you get the story? My wife turned 50, not 40. So the guy has been married to a woman that is 10 years older than him. And they've been doing well in that marriage until the woman exposed her. They've been doing well. So somebody said the woman must really look very good, that even you as a man, you didn't know that this woman is 10 years older than her real age. Than the age that she put, you know. So what am I trying to say? It shouldn't matter. In fact, there's a popular couple in Abuja here. There's a popular couple. I don't know if I should mention names. Maybe I shouldn't mention, although it's out there in social media. The guy was a popular musician. His dad was a popular musician. He's married to a woman that is 8 years older than him. And they are doing well. I know them personally. I know the wife. I know the guy. I don't want to mention names, but if I mention the name, all of you here know him. Right? And they've been married for like 14 years now. 8 years older than him. And they are doing very well. They have children. They are fantastic. She loves him so much. And I can say that because it's not on social media. I know them. So age shouldn't be a problem. Even though for me personally, I don't think I can marry someone that is way older than me. That's personal. That's personal, right? That's personal. All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Being someone that is in crafts, like I do cakes and I've worked with some people that are in other businesses around Abuja. Over time, we've noticed that there is no avenue for men to access finance in business. Meanwhile, we have a lot of opportunities for women to access finance in business. And over time, we've noticed because of finance, which is like a major issue in business, most men are falling out of business gradually. In the cake industry, I've been in the cake industry, although I've been baking for, next year I'll be 20 years a baker, but I've been running my business since about 2016. And I've noticed the men I met in the industry, who are very good, by the way, very talented, very creative, over time, talent cannot sustain the business without finances and them not even knowing their financial way around finances. Is there an avenue for that? And do you have like something that men can walk into and be educated financially on how to run businesses?
Okay, all right. Men get problem. See now, So there's something called an EFINA report. It's an international report on lending in Africa, if across the world. Lending, it's not just Nigeria, across the world. EFINA report talks about, okay, who will pay back, what are the social characteristics, and they found that 80% of women pay back loans. Men, and I don't go drink Hennessy or Glenfiddich. So it's a social problem. Men are not showing leadership in business. They are not showing that probity and seriousness. The average woman, I'm not talking about all these IG girls. The average woman, once she takes a loan, she's ready not to sleep for 7 days till she pays that money back. We don't see the same in many men. But of course, we have also given billions to men. So all over Banex, we fund a lot in Banex. Maybe we are the biggest funder in Banex. Quietly, a lot of people that drive all these big cars around and all those things, you won't know. It's a lot of bank loans. So we fund men a lot. But I just want to know that there's a report out there, and banks read it. Any financial person reads it. It comes out every year, and the story has not changed the past 10 years. Women are more trustworthy to pay back loans than men. So it's a narrative we need to correct. Even without the financial education, they are ready to pay back the loans. Maybe they don't have as much bukata as men have. But yeah, of course, I'm sure that Ajibola, you putting together a platform for financial education for men also.
I'll invite you to come and talk to them. Okay, but there's something about, I want to tell you something. I started selling ties. To the glory of God, I've not had to borrow money from anyone before, till now. That's why you need to learn how to be frugal. Frugal. Reinvesting back into your business. Not getting what you don't need. You see, so many times, women collect money from men too much. Men is the one, you are the one, you've not eaten pizza. Look at, you want to send someone chegi, the restaurant you said you want to, you've not even gotten it for yourself. So men are the one funding that life. So the money you should invest back in business, you are investing in different women, buying different things. That when you're starting business, you need to be frugal. Putting money back. Market a lot. Sometimes if you market and people need your cake a lot, they will pay. You start saving more. Sorry, not everybody will have someone to give them money to start big. Some people, and I don't know, I was telling someone 3 days ago that why is it that God didn't give me money to start big? He's always making me grow. I will take baby step. All the cars I've ever used started from boats. This Camry, the red Camry in the middle. That was the first official car of the company. We scaled to Pencil Light. From Pencil Light, we scaled to Corolla 2005. From it should be Femi that was that one. You know? So I scale now. I have Corolla, the latest Corollas. So gradually, and guess what? Not indebted at any point. So what making you see is that be frugal. Reinvest back into your business. Don't live in a house that will kill the business because you've hammered. So because if you're not getting the money, you can still get to the top. It's just that you might produce in a place that nobody will come. Don't open a restaurant when you have to borrow to open it. Make sure you are still doing delivery so that you can save more money. Don't get table you should not need. You know, sometimes you want people to feel you are good. You now have office as someone selling cake. You don't need it. Who needs to come to that office? So I'm just making you see that I cut a lot of cost away and put money where it should be. Guess what? If you are focused that way 10 years, you would have seen that you don't even need those investments again. Gradually. Sorry, my own quack advice in building businesses. Don't totally look at you want to borrow and borrow and borrow. Sorry, I believe you borrow because of him.
I have a rejoinder.
I know. But how I've grown in business is reinvesting back. It might be very slow. It might put you through a lot of more pain. but it makes you more solid. That if everything is
good,
debt and debt, so that's my own.
In fact, if you have not even started business on your own, in your own little way, banks will not give you any money.
Yeah.
But once that you have started. But you know, his business will be at a point where he needs to scaling up. You know, and that's when you need OPM, other people's money. You need money from the financial to scale up.
OPM.
You know, yeah. So, you know that time we were friends, Dangote was selling Indomie. I hope you know. He was selling Indomie. I used to meet him in inside that Agbeni market. He would come and give his biggest distributors small fridge. He'll say, you can't open an account for us today, allergy is coming. So he was selling Indomie in 19, which year was that? 2000, 2001. Now he's built the largest refinery in the world. OPM made that possible. So if he stayed with, let me be doing it small, you know, he won't have scaled up. But there was a level of financial maturity and responsibility that, like he said, he had to be frugal and he had to establish. He probably started with friends and family. We would have talked about, I missed the other session you wanted me to come to, about 5 ways of raising money. Maybe started with friends and family and all that. But, you know, you grow it, you know, and at a point you can now approach. And it's in Nigeria has come to a point where your credit history is very important. We are becoming like the Western world now. In fact, if you bring me any big business proposal and I check the credit bureaus, and they are very religious, they report all your credit history, all your turnover, we see it there. And you have not even borrowed money from a bank. I'm wary, I don't want to do business with you. Because somebody who's borrowed money and repaid many times shows that you have learned finance. You have learned financial probity. You will learn something about the financial system. So if you borrow money and you're able to pay back on time, you don't have a bad report, your credit score is high in the credit bureau, the likelihood you'll get bigger support. And that's why you see that Dangote today wants to do refinery in East Africa, wants to do Kineko. It is not his money.
Yeah,
he's getting money from the financial system. So you also need to build yourself as a man to that level where you can, you know, because we have to employ thousands of youths. Yeah. So we have to keep creating businesses.
Thank you so much.
I realize that the Nigerian market is quite fractured. It's not structured, especially on the micro level. When it comes to SMBs, and I believe you deal with SMBs a lot. So the question I want to ask is this: how do one structure a micro private equity firm for success from day one? That's the question I want to ask. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Very intelligent and fantastic question. So it's already structured, but maybe we're not making enough noise about it. There are a lot of angel investors. There's something called angel investing. You know, people just see your business and they like the concept, they like you as a person, and then they want to invest. There's a lot of that we just want to support you to. I do quite a lot, but my hands are full now. But I think there are also a couple of equity firms in Lagos. I'll try and if that group is formed, I'll send some links if I can't find that do support these businesses. The Money Point boy guys is an angel investor that funded them. Somebody that funded them, you know. So it's available. For micro, and I like what he said. Anything you start big is likely to crash. So you start small and you start building. You know, there's a lot of lessons to learn along the way. I'm still learning every day, you know, in some of those things. So it's available. It may be rare. It's available. There are angel investors. And I think if Abuja, I will work on putting together a club of people who can invest. You'll be shocked that people are ready to help. You'll be shocked. People just think our society has changed. People are ready to help. It's only that if you can present yourself well and then have access to those platforms.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for our guests. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.